welcome back to Dating Myself series. And today's episode is centered on the topic of not giving up and how to invest in yourself as a former people pleaser, and also knowing how to push through the mental warfare that you go through in your mind. Without further ado, let's get into this video. I remember my therapist always asked me this one question. She'd be like, Mashama, how are you going to take care of yourself this week? I'm going to answer as if I'm talking to my therapist. This donut place that I've been wanting to go to for the past 2 years. It's my favorite donut. And I took myself to this cafe and I went and got my favorite donut. Another thing that I did to pour into myself was there's this vendor at this market. It's this Thai place and they make amazing shrimp rolls. And once again, I haven't had these in 2 years now. So 2 for 2.
Is it the shrimp one?
Shrimp one here.
Yeah, can I have 5?
And it made me think about how the smallest things that we do builds confidence. These small things that you do in your everyday life, they matter. Even if it's going to your favorite coffee shop, waking up at 5 a.m. to go for a run, or whatever it may be, they matter. So last week, my camera stopped working. Because my camera stopped working, on top of everything else that was happening on that week, my camera not working was like the last straw. So I essentially decided like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to film this series anymore because I don't have my camera. But I realized that it was just so easy for me to give up. I was reading something on Substack talking about how it's essentially us having to overcome this warfare that is happening in our mind. A lot of the times when we're doing something, we feel that we're not good enough. We feel that like, why us? How can I do something? And whatever that you want to do, there's this battle that you have to overcome in your head to know that you are good enough and you can do it. So when my camera broke, I was like, I am done. I don't want to do this anymore. This is the last straw. This is the sign. And it's funny how at the smallest inconvenience, I want to give up. And it was after calling my friend, she gave me a different perspective. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, the devil is a liar, because how come it is at the smallest inconvenience, I want to give up on something that I want to do and something that I feel passionate about? I ended up working through it. And you know, the funny thing is I realized I didn't even need my camera. It gave me a new perspective, because imagine if I would have gave up, then I wouldn't have understood what it meant to push through, that my phone is good enough. Especially at the beginning, when we start doing something at the beginning, it's like we're looking for every sign to say that it's not going to work out. And a lot of times we feel that we need something. We need every single thing to be able to do something, not realizing that we have more resources than we can imagine. When we so easily want to give up, especially when you're working through doubt, especially when you're working through strengthening your faith and believing in yourself and how you're overcoming how not to be a people pleaser, it is really hard, but it's not impossible. Going back to that article, it takes overcoming that warfare in your mind and being comfortable in the uncomfortability of it all. Because for me, whenever I get uncomfortable or whenever something is so difficult, the very first thing that I want to do is procrastinate or avoid it. When it comes to something that is external, where I'm pouring in onto something else that's not necessarily my stuff, then it's not difficult for me to pour into someone else or another project that is not for me necessarily. But when it comes to my own stuff, whenever it's uncomfortable, the very first thing that I want to do is I want to go to bed. I want to sleep. I just want to avoid it and see if it's just gonna go away. It doesn't go away. And that's what I've learned, is that it doesn't go away, that you really have to battle through the uncomfortability. And that is the only way that you see the light at the end of the tunnel. You will see a different perspective, and it really be the simplest battle. It doesn't have to be something big. It really could be, I'm afraid of going out by myself. I remember a time in my life where I didn't know what it's like to go out to eat by myself. And I remember where I was like, okay, I want to go to sushi. And I woke up one day and I went out and I went to get sushi. I sat at the table, I ordered and I ate. Although I was a little shy and I felt anxious when I was sitting down and eating by myself, and I realized it really wasn't that uncomfortable. And it's through these little things we build up our self-confidence, and we build up the very thing that we're afraid to do. And it starts by doing these little things, so that when you want to do something a little bit bigger, you've already built up your confidence to knowing that if you can do the small things, then tackle the big things step by step. Speed in the black. Well, this was a bus. I can't believe it's $32 for parking. That's crazy. I've never gone to see the tulips. There's like this whole festival for the tulips. I went to go see the tulips. I'm glad I did. Although there were some hiccups, but it was really beautiful. In the end, that's how I know it was meant to be, because we're supposed to leave. After not being able to find parking and parking being $32 plus, we decided that we're gonna leave, but we ended up finding the parking and we went to see the tulips, and that's how I knew that I was meant to see the tulip. And nothing says ending the evening with a nice dinner. That's what I would tell my therapist, and that's how I took care of myself. And I would also tell her of how I was distraught. And that same day where I was having such an amazing day, my camera stopped working. And though the afternoon was ruined, the next day, realizing that I have to push through the uncomfortability of not giving up. I cannot give up so easily. That whatever inconvenience that may happen, I believe and I have the confidence and I have the faith and not giving up. I realized I'm capable. I'm worth investing in myself. For the first time in my life, something so small like this made me realize that I'm worth investing in myself. It's okay to have inconveniences. It happens. And that just because something happened doesn't mean that there isn't a solution. There's always a solution. And to stop trying to see that every little sign is a sign to give up. So a little reflection. What do I look forward to for next week? Is I want to do something new, something that I can say I haven't done before, something that I can look back and say, I did that. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you on the next video, episode 3.